Today, in the media conference with Lal Goel, which is brought to you by V4 News, Karu News, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV India, News Gaon Se, Samvad Sarokar News, Bharat Post News, Gyan, and Organ Donation India Foundation. Our endeavor is to bring to you every day new topic. And today's topic is not only current topic, very, very relevant topic. And the topic is raising boys to be good men. But before I will go on the main topic, I would like to inform you that today the country, our India, is celebrating National Science Day. National Science Day is celebrated in India on 28th February each year to mark the discovery of the Raman effects by Indian physicist Sir C.V. Raman on 28th February 1928. For his discovery, Sir C.V. Raman was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1930. National Science Day is celebrated to spread a message about the importance of science used in the daily life of the people, to display all the activities, efforts, and achievements in the field of science for human welfare. It is celebrated to discuss all the issues and implement new technologies for the development in the field of science, to give an opportunity to the scientific-minded citizens in India, to encourage the people as well as popularize science and technology. Media conference with Lal Goel wish that India will produce many more great scientists to serve the humanity. Now coming to our main topic, raising boys to be good men. Between the rough housing and the belief that boys will be boys or men will be men, handling a boy is no easy ride. And it is hard not to worry if you are currently raising one. Luckily, most of these behaviors are more culturally influenced than they are biologically, picked up from peers, relatives, teachers, and the media. And since these things are learned, there are things we can do as parents to help guide our boys into becoming good men. Some qualities that are stereotypically considered manly, like being stoic and not showing how you feel, are actually very oppressive and restricting. According to a report, men who follow more traditional manly behavior, including hiding their emotions, are more likely to be depressed and make high-risk decisions. As a result, many boys whose parents subscribe to that mindset grow up ashamed of their feelings. They become men who can't communicate well, bottling up or lashing out, which makes it hard for them to relate to others and keep stable, healthy relationships. Therefore, it's important to teach your son to express his emotions and to be able to talk about personal stuff. Set an example to your son by discussing the division of labor in your household. Boys should learn early on that all family members work as a team. It would also prevent a bias against certain activities and make them much more competent, self-reliant, and prepared for adult life. Explain to him that unwanted or inappropriate comments and jokes toward both girls or boys are never okay. Boys should be taught from a young age what is involved in good hygiene and grooming habits. Teach him to be respectful of the person's choice, whatever the response. Tell him the person is not interested. If the person is not interested, he should not ask why or try to change the answer. And to discuss this very, very important topic today, because in India we have seen how many rapes are taking place, how we are seeing that people are shaming or people are commenting very lewd or dirty remarks about the girls or the women. And we have also seen the boys are always ashamed even to do some household work, and all the girls or the daughters or the wife or the sister, they have to do all the housework. So to discuss this point, raising boys to be good men, we have a very elite, experienced, those who are very, very knowledgeable about this topic because they have a lots of experience in their personal life. Panelists are with us. And I would like to invite my first panelist guest, and she is Mrs. Lata Goel. Mrs. Lata Goel is MSc, BLIS, B.Ed. She is the founder director of Ramanlal Shorawala Public School, Mathura, which started 25 years ago. Almost all pass outs of the schools are placed in highly coveted sectors of the society like the IAS, IPS, engineering, medicine, and IT sector in India and abroad. She is the past district chairman, Innerville District 311. She joined Innerville in the year 1990 after attaining Best ISO, Best Treasurer, Best Secretary, Best President awards in Innerville Club of Mathura. PDC Lata Goel reached Innerville District 311, where she became the district chairman in the year 2002-2003. She was the district literacy committee chairman from the year 2014-15 and 2016-17. At this post, PDC Lata Goel, in alliance with Rotary International Literacy Mission RILM, put in her best efforts to help in educating the uneducated in India. She has received many awards, such as Avantika Award on International Women's Day. She received Utkrisht Nari Samman in 2016. She also received the Navratna Samman of Rashtriya Jan Udyog Vyapar Mandal in 2018. Welcome, Mrs. Lata Goel, on our show. Mrs. Goel, you are founder director of a very reputed school in Mathura. And as your profile says, that many of your students have become IAS, IPS, engineers, etc. But have you ever seen how they are behaving in their real life? And I'm sure, being the mother of two sons, you have also seen the hurdles, you have also faced the problems, the challenges which everyone faced. As I can also say that we were 4 brothers, no sisters. We also faced at that time, but how the parenting was done by our parents, thanks to them. Both are not there now, but still we give thanks to them, that how they have inculcated that values in us, that we should give respect to the women or the girls. And that's what we feel that in India, that is lacking, and especially towards, I will not be blunt, towards the North India. And you belongs to North India. You are such a big social worker. We were the past chairman of Innerville also. We would like to know your views on this today's topic, raising boys to be good men. Mrs. Lata Goel, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Goel, for saying such things about me. And I hope I fall correct on this topic. And I have a lot of experience, as you said, no doubt about it. But still, the factors remain the same. So to begin my verdict, I want to thank Mr. Goel, Chairman, Organ Donation India Foundation and GYAN, and also the Chief Editor of today's media conference, members on the panel of this wonderful discussion, raising boys to be good men. What a beautiful topic this is, raising boys to be good men. Yes, the topic itself sent me reeling, my mind reeling, to discover how raising of girls was different from raising the boys. But as also said by Mr. Lal Goel, boys are boys, men are men. And today's topic concentrates on boys, so let me concentrate only on boys. Parents have a vital responsibility to teach their sons how to be strong and responsible men as they grow up. It is a conscious process of mentoring, training, and connecting that creates a desire and the skills needed for a boy to become the kind of man you want him to be. Childhood lasts very few years. So we have only a few early years during which we can lay foundations of good character in our sons. It starts with understanding the key principles associated with being a great man and a great father, and then both teaching them and living them in your own life. The man who is honest to the core of his heart is bound to make his mark in life. This is what I believe. Here are a few tips for parents. Tip number 1, be the role model. Parents themselves have to demonstrate commitment, sacrifice, self-control, and responsibility in order for their sons to become the kind of man they want him to become. As the boys watch you in action, they learn what being a man is all about. Point number 2, teach them about planning. Tell your children the art of making choices in life. For example, help them to develop a personal budget and savings. Help them to think about their careers. Emphasize the need for planning and preparation. Teach time scheduling and time management. Teach them all this by doing it yourself. Point number 3, teach and model respect. Help your young men learn respect for authority, to show respect for women and girls, as already reiterated by Mr. Goel. This way, they will respect both age and females, which is very much required in India. And they won't go wrong in their lives. Point number 4, teach them to be trustworthy and be hopeful. Real men keep their promises. They are honest and hopeful. Correct your children when you see any lack of trust. A hopeful and trustworthy person sees a green light everywhere, and a hopeless person sees a red light everywhere. Intelligent is the person who sees a green light everywhere. Point number 5, help your boys to learn accountability and self-discipline. Help them to learn that they can make choices and even sacrifice their dearest possession to get something of greater worth. Get them involved in some sport or music or some other activity that requires sacrifice and self-discipline. Point number 6, set up some rules and impose consequences. Help your son commit to living by rules in the house and impose consequences when he does not live by rules. For example, you yourself have to leave on time for your job. Otherwise, you will lose trust with your employer. Teach him this. Teach him this by example. If you don't teach this principle now, your sons will have to learn it later in life the hard way. Save the rod and spoil the child. This is what explains this point. Point number 7, teach your sons compassion. Teach him about importance of little kindness, of showing compassion for the disadvantaged and demonstrating love to his family members and friends, and even protecting Mother Earth and the environment. These values will make him responsible and strong. Teach by perception and example. If you do this, your sons will be real men who will be responsible and productive. One way of doing this is camp out with your boys. Camp out on the weekend. Take them out on the weekend. Cook, talk, and talk around the campfire. They will learn so much from you. You will get to know them so much more better. You will be able to pass on your values and attitudes to them. They will be able to open out their fears to you. Every good thought is a ray of light that drives away the evil thoughts. So every good thought that you will be passing on to him, he will be learning it in a very happy environment. Because raising of boys is hard. It's not easy. And raising a boy to be the man you want him to be is harder. So stand up for what you believe in, like morals, family, values, and religion. You stand up for it so that he learns from you. Have an open mind and be willing to hear the other person's side. Know when and how to apologize. This is very important. It shows that you are strong enough to know when you are wrong or make mistakes. Your child has to learn to say sorry from the core of his heart when he goes wrong. That will make him strong. Offer help. Teach your boys to help everyone and anyone automatically whenever the need arises. He should be there to help people whenever and wherever required. Knowing when to say no is the hardest thing to teach. This will teach them faith in themselves and turn down temptations. They must know how to say no to temptations. Help your boys to find their passion and pursue it. Somebody has a passion for music, somebody has a passion for sports, somebody has passion for reading. Please help him realize this and let him follow it. This will bring happiness to them. Tell your boys to read. Read for fun. Read magazines.
I think we have lost Mrs. Goel. Mrs. Lata Goel, I think your network has given up. Dr. Rashmi Kundapur, are you there? Dr. Kundapur? Dr. Rashmi Kundapur, are you there? Can you hear my voice?
I'm back here.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, please go ahead.
I love you. Tell your boys that you love them. This builds confidence in them. Laughter and humor both go a long way in encouraging children in every way and in every sphere. Boys' behaviors are more cultural than biological. They learn it from their culture. They're not inborn in them. Parents, relatives, peers, teachers, and the media send messages to boys that they should be tough, unemotional, competitive, strong, and powerful. Therefore, we as parents can do so many things to make our boys good men. Avoid feelings of superiority. One survey found in the US that 40% of fourth grade children, boys rather, feel smarter than the girls. Prevent this feeling. Be a good sport. Learn and teach how to lose. Be charitable. Mahatma Gandhi said, the simplest acts of kindness are by far more powerful than 1,000 heads bowing in prayer. Work hard. Hard work gives purpose to your life. Express emotions. Crying is not only for girls. Even boys should cry, as man's real strength comes from accepting and expressing his emotions. They say, oh, what a crybaby you are. Be a man, don't cry. No, men should also cry because they are the same as girls. There is no difference between them and the girls. If the girls can express their emotions by crying, why should the boys cry? Show tolerance and appreciation towards your boys. Parents must tolerate their children's trivial behavior. You know, at adolescent times, children go wrong. If the parents do not show tolerant behavior, children become deflected. Parents must appreciate them for their efforts and must forgive them for their trivial behavior. Every parent wants their child to be empathetic, caring, confident. Remember, children take after their parents. This is what I feel. Children take after their parents. However much you may educate them and feel that you may send them to the boarding houses, you may send them abroad, you may send them away from you, but the real values are ingrained in the boys right from their childhood, and they involuntarily become like their parents. So exhibit the kind of behavior that you want your sons to exhibit. Automatically, your sons will fall in line and be better citizens and men than you. They will be better men than you. I hope I have explained enough. Take a good grand leap, set a good example, and the whole mankind will be in your fists. Thank you. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity to me to express my views. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Lata Goel, for giving your views. And Mrs. Lata Goel explained in details, point-wise point, what parents should do with the boys from the childhood, so that they will inculcate those qualities which are very much required to become a good man in future. And she made a very important point. She says, even if you think that by sending them to a boarding house or away from the house, they will get those qualities there, but you always forget, one parent should not forget that child get from the since birth, the boy is watching the parents' behaviors, how the parents behave, and that is the first and the last impression which the child always have. So one has to be very, very careful, and they must become the role model for the children, and especially the boys. Thank you very much, Mrs. Goel, for giving your views. Now, I would like to invite my next panelist guest, and she is Dr. Rashmi Kundapur. Dr. Rashmi Kundapur is the... One moment. Sorry. Dr. Rashmi Kundapur is the additional professor, Department of Community and Family Medicine, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Hyderabad. She completed MBBS in 2001 and MD in 2006 at JJM Medical College, Devangri, Karnataka, with first class. She has 75 publications with H index 11 and I-10 index 9 with 789 citations, publications with impact factor ranging from 0.51 to 4.53. She has more than 30 presentations in various state, national and international conferences. She is the editor for IAPSM, textbook of preventive and social medicine, published in 2019 and second edition in 2021. She has given more than 32 guest lectures and trainings. She was invited speaker for 3 international conferences and 8 national conferences and workshops. In 31st National Conference of 2004, she won Young Female Scientist Award. She was awarded Young Scientist Award by Kutch in 46th Conference in Nepal by Karnataka Association of Community Health in year 2011. In 46th National Conference of 2018, IAPSM, she was awarded Presidential Appreciation Award. In 47th National Conference 2019, she was awarded with Fellowship in Preventive and Social Medicine, FIA-PSM. She has completed 3 funded projects as co-investigator. She has completed 7 funded projects as principal investigator and currently 1 ongoing. She was secretary for IMA Mangalore from 2019 to 2020. Welcome, Dr. Rashmi Kundapur on our show. Dr. Rashmi Kundapur, you have already heard what Mrs. Lata Goel has said, and she has given point-wise the explanation that what are the things which parents should do from the childhood, from the birth of a boy, so that he will become a good man in future. Now, being a professor and that too in a community and family medicine, you are dealing with lots of communities, rich and poor and everyone. So we would like to know your views about the raising boys to be good men. Dr. Rashmi Kundapur, please.
Thank you, Mr. Lal Goel, sir, for inviting me. And with these esteemed guests, it's nice to be here once again to speak on. I have 3 things which I would want to very clearly put up here across us. Why is raising boys into a good man is different from raising a girls? How we would go ahead saying that they are 2 different things. And second thing is, all these days we were talking about the raising girls and empowerment of women, and are we now talking about raising boys into a man? And the last thing we want to say that is, why should we go ahead and not speak about the gender inequality, but the gender equity? So taking into these 3 issues, when looking into what is the difference in bringing up the girls and boys, it's always known for all of us, including all of us would be, and I would never have realized that part unless one of my mentor exactly told me one day when we were sitting in a class and we were talking about what is the social structure and how the social structure is different and what is happening and why should we do not do it. And my mentor was in CMC Vellore, and sir comes from Kerala, which is supposed to be the matriarchal family, with still. And sir says that I love my daughter a lot. He was in PhD from John Hopkins, and he was in MD and a PhD from John Hopkins. And he comes back. He believed that he loved his daughter a lot. He had a son and a daughter, and he believed he loved his daughter a lot. But when he comes back home, he loves his daughter. So he says his daughter, Beta, can you just go and get me a glass of water? I'm too tired. For his daughter. And suddenly when the wife says, can you get me there's no salt at home. He says, his son, can you go out and get a packet of salt? I'm too tired to go for today. And he says, unknowingly, this is not that I wanted to bring a gender bias, but unknowingly, I have been brought up and I have believed that the girl is to do the household chore of getting me water, and the boy is to go out and get me a salt from the shop for salt. So he had told us, all of us, that it's an unconscious and unknowing behavior as a gender bias being in us, all of us, that how we should be behaving until we make ourselves conscious to understand that we are all basically gender biased and we need to be gender equity and gender equality to bring in within ourselves. We have to make a conscious efforts within ourselves in each and every talk of us when we are raising our children to make it see so that they have a unisex approach or an attitude towards the country or a society. So this was the first thing when I realized, yes, obviously, this is what we all have been seeing and we all have been bringing up and thinking of. So the children, it has been always said that I was reading a lot of articles, scientific articles, when I was doing my studies on domestic violence. and was realizing what is the reason for there was a lot of domestic violence. Is that because, and most of the domestic violence would have been because they were not happy with the wife, with they would want their daughters to be empowered, but they would not be happy to handle an empowered woman in their life. So this was an issue. I want my daughter to be an empowered woman, but I cannot handle the empowered wife in my life. So these are the issues which we have to focus on, because most of us believed in the domestic violence. There's also most of them believed we should empower the daughter, even in the villages. But they said boys grow up themselves. There is no need of raising a boys. They grow up themselves. There's nothing much to do on them. This was a common attitude. So this is the attitude which has picked up for the boys to believe that they are to be grown as they want. They do not have to have a restrictions. They do not have to have a follow rules to follow, and they are supposed to be the patriarchal society owners to lead this society, and the women has to fight for it. And they would be a saviors for the women. Now there are two issues. Once you believe you are a savior, and a woman says that I do not believe you are my savior, he gets frustrated, he gets irritated, and he cannot act as a good man. So that was the reason which you could see in even in the Abhaya rape case, Nirbhaya Abhaya rape case, the person said very clearly that he couldn't see an empowered woman. It was called as a bad woman. So he could not feel that she should have been like that. I also would want to put across saying that once we were traveling, one of my two postgraduate girls were sitting in a bus, and behind the bus, there were two seats back were the two boys who were doing medical boys, coming somewhere from Roth in Mangalore, and they were talking about their class fight. And one of the boy very clearly said, if this was UP, these girls would have been taught a lesson and they would have been raped for the way they are acting. It was not a rape, but see the attitude, how they were being taught that teaching a girl a lesson would have been a rape. So there is definitely a way approach that what we are bringing up our girls and what we are bringing up our boys need to be differentiated and consciously made an effort. It is not just making them responsible, but also making them feel that how the gender equity or equality has to be brought into consideration. And what is equity and what is equality has to be told. Why girls are given a prominence. My son asked me a question. When we were traveling in our scooter, so sitting behind, and he asked me a question that why do an Indian law have that after a divorce, it's a mandate that the man has to give an alimony for his wife. Why is that required? So I said, because if she is not working, it is required that he has to take care of his wife. So he said, why is that concept in a marriage coming? Man has to take care of a woman. Why shouldn't everybody be earning for themselves? Then I said, if she has a child, she has to take care of the child. She cannot go for work. So he said, why should it be that I agree there is a nature? He was 7th class and he knew the childbirth was from the girl. So he asked me that I agree that there is a natural process. Women gives birth to the child. But in a family, somebody who is more careerly capable can go out for a career, and somebody who is less capable can sit up at home and take care of a child. Why it should be only a mother? Why can't it be a father? Why do not we have this concept? Why is that a concept being brought up that men has to look after the women, men has to look after, bring money to the children? Why it cannot be a mother bringing money to the home? Why it cannot be a father cooking in the house? So he was telling, isn't it a stress on a man that he have to earn? They have to be good to take care of other women in the society. Why shouldn't the law be changed? I said, no, if she's a working woman, she does. But still, the man is considered as somebody who takes care of a home. And woman is a homemaker who makes the home. Why is that concept being brought up? I literally did not have an answer to give it. And I said, yes, definitely, this concept has to be changed. Anybody who can do better can go ahead and look into. And this should be a concept bringing into in all our homes and schools. My son asked another question to me. In the school, they ask us to cut our hairs. We should cut our hairs, we should have short hairs, but why shouldn't girls cut their hairs? Why is there no rule that the girls should not cut their hairs? If there is an uniformity, there is an equality, it should be allowed for boys to also have long hairs. Girls also can have long hairs or short hairs. Why should the girls look only beautiful and boys should look decent? Why shouldn't be there another concept of everybody can look what they really feel like? We do not have an answer for all these questions. I'm not saying that these are all very important questions, but I'm talking about how the gender inequality prevails in all our system in everywhere about, and we make a rules how the girls have to behave, how the boys have to behave. Girls are made to look beautiful, and man should have a manhood, or whatever man said. What a madam said, manhood should not show their emotions and be manhood, and women should look beautiful and free themselves to be excellent, to portray them, to impress the man. So these concepts has to be changed and consciously made effort within the house that we are not into this, and then only the frustrations and the approach could be different. Second issue I said was like difference in this and equality and equity I was talking about. There is something called as equality. Yes, equal opportunities we are given. There is something called as also an equity. The woman biologically has some disadvantages, biologically has some issues which has to be dealt. That is called as equity, which has to be consciously made in effort and given an opportunity. I agree that should not be taken as an advantage, but that also should be given an equal opportunity for her to raise. We had an IMA this time in Karnataka. IMA had a conference to say, break the bias, and they told me to write an essay. I was telling that, in that I was looking into and seeing that when the girls and boys equally do, and especially in Karnataka, we see majority of the girls do MBBS than compared to boys. But when they want to pursue their MD, then the girls have to think twice and thrice what the subject they have to raise, where they have to take it, depending upon whom they are going to marry, where they are going to settle. Whereas boys choose it on their skills and their attitudes. So this thought of changing, pursuing their post-graduation depends upon what you want to, because whom you will be getting married to, whom you are in love with, what will be he taking, what will be he doing? Because it's very mandatory for a woman that she also has to, you cannot say that there is no family. You have to be a powerful superwoman to manage both house and that's what is expected. And when you yourself, that's what I'm saying, as a mothers, we ourselves try to be the superwoman, try to manage everything. My son or any son would expect a wife to be a superwoman exactly. Why don't we show that we are also not superwomen? Why don't we show that we are also having flaws? Why don't we show that this was an international study which was showing that the men whose parents, like whose mothers, also used to show that they had a tummy. They were not perfect Barbie dolls. They had tummy, they were fat, but still they were capable, would accept a better woman by character rather than by a figure. But the woman who tried to be the best of the wife or best of the mother always expected a wife, it was a cohort study, expected that the wife should be the perfect dilly-dally wife and a perfect looking wife. So it's in the mother who teaches what is equality, what is equity, where the woman has to be given an opportunity, where also they should be also given an appropriateness, how they have to be behaved, and what is being okay, and also it is okay to be not perfect always. Women need not be perfect always, but she should be a happy woman. And it's a responsibility of everybody, women and the men, to make everybody happy in the society. He should also be happy. Equally, the women should be happy. It's not only his right to be happy, but it's also, that's what I was telling. It's a mandate for a woman, but it's a choice for a man. It should not be a choice for a man and a mandate for a woman, but it should be a choice for both of them. It should be told to him that both of them have a choice. And when they have to give an opportunity to the equity, they should look into it. How can they wander and give an equity? I also agree, men also needs an equity sometimes. which should be taken into consideration and given. Everybody speaks about the household course. I definitely agree. Household course should be equally done and should be taught and part of it. But also, it should be taught that it is okay if you're happy doing an household chore as a woman or as a boy, that's agreed. And it's a girl, if she's happy going out and buying something, doing a shopping, it's okay. It's accepted. The gender switch is accepted and it's normal. There is no necessity somebody has to have equally doing everything. It's just a balance in a family which has to take care of. So somebody does outsource finance. Recent studies which have shown that women, 80% of the women were not able to manage the finance, whereas 80% of the men were able to manage the finance. Even the working and most capable women were not able to finance. The finance advisors of the company were not able to manage their own and household finance, because it has been brought up to them that the finance management is a man. Whereas not necessarily, I've seen many women who can manage the finance much better than the men. And it's been opposing on the men that they have to manage the finance of the house. I've seen the most educated women expecting their husband do all their bookings for the family who go abroad. Why can't you do it? Or expect their husband to take them out for a dinner. And the men, it poses us more of pressure, and he expects that wife does everything at home. So why don't these switch off or switch on or switch over of the gender being given to as a choice for both of them? This is the final thing. What I want to say is the equality, equity, and the gender unisexuality is requirement of in today's world, and that's how the bringing up of the boys is more important than the girls, because already we have been posed a lot of things on an empowerment of girls. All our girls are empowered, but let's teach our boys to handle the empowered women. Today, our divorce rates are high. We are not able to handle, and the rape victims are more because our boys are not able to handle the empowered women. So the focus should be on raising a boy to be a responsible man, not only for himself, but for a society, so that we say that he will be able to handle an empowered and a non-empowered woman equally and appropriately. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rashmi Kundapur, for making very, very strong your submission about that the man or the boy should know how to handle the empowered girl or the woman, and or even the unempowered. And she very clearly says that every time we were talking about the women, this is the first time. Yes, I will tell you, I have done so for last almost now 22 years, completing in the March 22nd. I have done so many programs, but never did the program on this. And this suggestion came from my daughter only. And she says, you are doing all programs focused on the women. Why not the boy? They should know how to behave. And this is a parenting fault, not the boy's fault. She made it clear to me. But one point which Dr. Kundapur mentioned about that how the girls which are in their education, like she gave the example of MBBS, more girls are there, boys are less. But when the question comes to MD or even to further studies, the boys are giving preference. And it has happened not now. I can give you the example of my own mother. When she topped the Agra University from Holkar College, Indore in 1948 in chemistry, and she got a full scholarship from USA. The professor told her that, see, look, the second boy is a boy. He will get, if you will not, because there is one scholarship, and you are going to marry in any case. Why you do not want to give? And she, as we know that the girls' nature, they are always donating, and she, in a way, she's accommodated, and she says, okay, fine. But this is wrong. This is the thing which is happening everywhere in India. We should not be. After all, whether marriage is going to take place in a boy and girl, not the girl is only going to marry. Boy is also going to marry. Anyway, thank you very much, Dr. Rashmi Kundapur, for making your points. I am sure today many of the boys who are listening to our program might be unhappy with me. I may get some trolling today that why you are bringing out such type of topic. But thank you very much. Now I would like to invite my next panelist guest, and she is Miss Karishma Chhatpati. Miss Karishma Chhatpati is the inner transformation coach She is the founder of the Being Spiritual with KUC. She is knowledgeable partner of Fitsta Private Limited, Mumbai. She started out as a journalist, then progressed to an editorial desk job, and on the side, she completed her master's in psychotherapy and counseling and master's in psychology. For 8 years, she doubled, rather tripled up as an editor, freelance writer, and corporate coach and psychotherapist. Then in 2008, she switched completely to coaching, psychotherapy, and counseling, used a myriad of modalities to help her clients. Her head was filled with knowledge of tarot, angel card reading, Hindu rites and rituals from a spiritual perspective, crystal healing, Reiki, guided meditations, mindfulness, hypnotherapy, astrology, rune casting, crystal ball gauging, art therapy, handwriting and signature analysis, candle meditation, etc. Being spiritual with KUC, she crested community. Her every blog post comes from a space of deeper understanding, wisdom brought about by the awareness that comes through experience of the lessons learned. Welcome, Miss Karishma Chhatrapati on our show. Miss Karishma Chhatrapati, you have heard Mrs. Lata Goel as well as Dr. Rashmi Kundapur. Both have made their points very, very clearly and strongly. Now, you being also having so many things in you, but basically because of your psychotherapy and the counseling which you are doing and the psychology, you might be coming across with many families and they have the same problem which the country is facing about the parenting of the boy, which is a very, very crucial thing today, because girls, after all, the mother was a girl in the childhood, and now when she has to give good parenting to the boy, that is a very, very difficult task. So we would like to know your views on raising boys to be good men. Miss Karishma Chhatrapati, please. Please unmute. Please unmute.
I'm so sorry. Thank you, Mr. Lal, for having me on this panel this morning. And I was listening to the views prior to me. And yes, they reiterated the fact that we must bring up boys who grow into fine gentlemen. I would like to bring into today's discussion the psychological aspect of bringing up a boy in today's day and age. Before that, I would like to share a little anecdote with you. So it so happened when the pandemic began, my part-time maid had gone on that indefinite holiday for obvious reasons. And 3 months later, when she came back, she said, you know, my daughter's becoming a nurse. And I was shocked because I didn't know where children were going, what they were doing. So I asked her, how come? She said, because her daughter felt the need to do something more in life and help out there. So I asked her, what about your son? She said, you know what? My son will learn to fend for himself. I need to empower my daughter to excel in life. And that is such a beautiful thing, because she has invested so much into her daughter's life and realized that pampering the boy is not everything. The boy in her life is not the investment for her tomorrow, but investing in her daughter's life is investing into her daughter's future. So it's so beautiful that somewhere at the grassroots levels, people are realizing the importance of giving the daughter importance, realizing the value of her future as much as their own sons. So that's such a big, thing that happened, and I'm so happy. Now, coming back to the psychological aspect. As children, when we are born, we tend to imitate and emulate who we consider our role models. By default, a boy's role model is the men of his house, the men around him, and by default for women, it is the women around. If a boy is brought up in a household where he sees his father dominating, bad-mannered, alcoholic, and literally putting his own wife down, somewhere the conditioning happens to that boy. And he then grows into emulating that or working very hard not to. Now, apart from this, women who have husbands who are abusive and violent, they tend to then use their sons as their armors of protection. And subconsciously, without realizing, rear boys who become men who do not have any respect for the women around. So yes, your upbringing and what you see around you is a very, very important aspect in how you grow up from being a boy into a man. So therefore, if you are bringing up a child in a negative environment where he is getting role models who are going to make him like them, then you need to correct that. You need to seek intervention for that. You need to seek help for that. You need to see how you can bring him up better. Another aspect that was said before, and I want to bring into the room, boys don't cry. And I've heard this time and again. I have actually had parents who come and say, my boy is so cranky, he keeps crying. Can you please make him into a strong boy? Like, why shouldn't boys emote? What makes you say that tears is a luxury for women? Tears is a luxury for human beings. It is the release of emotional toxins and baggage. Crying is not a sign of weakness. In fact, holding back those tears and pretending to be strong and courageous is a sure shot method of bringing up someone who's very weak. So you know what? Boys and girls do cry according to the circumstances, but don't teach them to be victims of that circumstance, because they could be courageous girls and there could be boys who are all the time crying about their circumstances but not shedding a tear. It is the mindset that matters. What makes a boy stand out from a girl is basically the physiology. The mindset is the same. Today, if women can excel across industries, so have men excelled. As pointed out previously, finances. Why should men hold on to the finances? In fact, I've heard stories of the women in my household where literally, like my great grandmother, had gotten her children married from the savings. The money given to her by her husband, she would run a house and then save that money in the rice boxes. So you know what? Stop demarcating roles. There must be gender acceptance. There must be a balance. There must be, as my fellow colleague had said earlier, gender equity. There must be an equilibrium. There must be a respect. Just because a woman or a girl goes through a period, does that make her weaker? In fact, my dear friends, that makes her even more stronger because she knows pain at a very different level. Yet, does that boy not know pain? Of course, he knows pain. He has gone through bullying. He has gone through her father who's very strict. He also has his backstory. Stop discriminating. Any kind of discrimination is not fair. And gender discrimination is one of the worst that we can give our generations to come. Bring in equality, bring in equilibrium. The women are as beautiful and dynamic as a man can be beautiful. Let's stop saying the man is handsome, the woman is beautiful. Let's say every human being is beautiful and can contribute by their own individual characteristics. Let's say that we need to bring up wonderful human beings, whether a man or a woman. We need to bring up a society of human beings who serve society from the perspective of their own strengths and overcome their own weaknesses. When we stop talking man, woman, boy, girl, we start bringing up humanity. We start living humanity. Let's drop feminism. Let's drop everything that is male oriented and say the women can wear the pants just as maybe the man would want to wear a skirt. Not because of cowardice, but because there is gender equilibrium happening in society. Yes, boys do cry, and yes, life does happen for everyone. It's just that we need to accept this and let this happen. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Mr. Lal. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Karishma Chhatrapati, for giving your very, very beautiful views. And what she says, that the man or the boy should also cry. They should not be made that that you are a man, you are a boy, so you should not cry. And that is a very, very important thing. And she says that in India, or we have seen that how the distinction between men and women. I would like to just add one thing. I would like to inform our viewers also that it is not only in India, it is everywhere in the world initially. I'm talking about 1869. There was a bridge called Brooklyn Bridge in USA, which I am sure many of you might have seen between the New York and New Jersey, the bridge, which was supposed to be designed by one engineer. And unfortunately, that engineer fell sick, and his wife was also an engineer. And she started designing and taking the confidence of his assistant. But nobody was knowing initially. But afterwards, when they came to know, there was lots of resistance in USA at that time. They were not allowing a woman to design that very, very important bridge. But when the bridge was completed, and when she goes on that bridge first, it was appreciated. And then people realized then the women have that power to design a bridge, and that bridge is still there. It's not gone bad. It's 1883, the bridge was completed, and now we are in 2022. And I also crossed that bridge several times. So just to underestimate the intelligence of a woman or a girl is totally myth. We should not underestimate them. Although in India, we always treat them as a goddess in only 10 days in the winter, and in North, even the 10 days during the summer. But otherwise, we treat them very badly, and that is unfortunate part. Thank you very much, Ms. Karishma Chhatrapati, for giving your views. Very, very sweet views, I must say that. And I am sure the parents who are watching these shows, who have young boys, or the girls, and even the grandparents who are watching our show, they should know how to do the proper parenting, because our experts who are giving, they are giving from their own very, very vast experience. Thank you very much. Now I would like to invite my last but not the least panelist on the panel, and she is Dr. Charu Maheshwari. Dr. Charu Maheshwari is MBBS DGO DNB. She is an obstetrician and gynecologist at Rainbow Hospital, Aligarh. She is a dedicated and caring obstetrician and gynecologist with 15 plus years of experience in clinical practice, helping about 40 clients daily with their reproductive elements. She is a member of Indian Medical Association and FOXY, Federation of Obstetrics and Gynecology Society of India. Presently working as a specialist consultant in Rainbow Hospital, Aligarh, and dealing with patients with high risk pregnancy, infertility, and other reproductive problems. She has performed 2,000 plus complicated cesarean sections with favorable outcome with patient satisfaction. She, as senior laparoscopy surgeon, performed more than 100 cases of infertility, total laparoscopic hysterectomy, ovarian cysts, myomectomy, and other reproductive disorder. She has done her MBBS degree course from Government Medical College, Thrissur, Kerala, Diploma in Obstetrics and Gynecology PG course from Aligarh University, and was awarded gold medal for outstanding performance. She did her diplomate in National Board from Batra Hospital and Medical Research Center, New Delhi. Welcome, Dr. Charu Maheshwari, on our show. Dr. Charu Maheshwari, you have heard our earlier panelists, Mrs. Lata Goel, Dr. Rashmi Kundapur, and Ms. Karishma Chhatrapati, and they have given their views about how to upbring the boys so that they will become a good man. Now, we would like to know from you, raising boys to be good men. Dr. Charu Maheshwari, please.
Good morning, sir. Very different topic you have chosen this time. Yesterday, when I read the topic, I was thinking, what should I say about it? Till now, we were talking about the raising the girls. And now, we 4 female panelists are sitting here to discuss how to raise the men as a good man. That is itself shows that girls had moved a step ahead than that of boys. We have to take them with ourselves. First of all, we had enough discussion. Everyone has explained very nicely how should we imbibe good qualities in them, how should they become good men, they should have the emotions. But what I will say that we can understand this thing कि males also need proper parenting. But how we got lacking in this? If I will give you the example of in my OPD, what happens when suppose a newly married girl, she gets pregnant, she come to my OPD, and then she will say something that I'm having this problem. Her mother-in-law will tell, her sister-in-law will tell. The moment husband will say, "Ki, madam, I want to say something," mother-in-law will say, "Tu chup raha. You don't know anything about it." So, and then that lady will say, "आप तो चुप ही रहिए." तो हमेशा उसको इतना चुप करा देते हैं कि वो अपने इमोशंस शेयर ही नहीं कर पाता. तो the gravity of the situation lies here कि let them speak out, whether it is emotional, whether what he needs, he should be able to participate in that. That yes, my wife is pregnant, I also want to participate in that. So it becomes emotionally good for him. He do understand all these things also. If we give him this thing, he should be made empathy. मतलब एम्पैथी डेवलप कराएंगे तभी तो उसके अंदर इमोशंस आएंगे, तभी तो वो समझेगा. हम लोग इतने आगे निकलने के चक्कर में कि वी कैन डू दिस थिंग, वी कैन डू दिस थिंग, वी हैव लेफ्ट देम बिहाइंड. हमें तो साथ ही चलना है, चाहे लड़की है चाहे लड़का है. वी शुड गो टुगेदर. Not having emotions, because every time if he cries, we say no, male don't cry, male do not talk.
Oh, you have muted yourself, please.
Also emotionally वो outburst कर लेती है, but males में क्या होता है कि they don't share their problems, not with the mother, not with friends. अगर friends के साथ share करते हैं तो what they do say, they will say, ओहो तुम क्या लड़कियों की तरह बातें करते हो. मतलब they are not able to share their emotions, so that again makes them to have their emotions in their heart only, and which again create the problematic child. So once if we have अगर हम उनके इमोशंस इतने दबा देते हैं कि वो लेटर ऑन भी एक बेटर हस्बैंड, एक बेटर फादर बनने में भी वो डरते हैं, वो घर में बोलने से, बच्चों को बोलने से, वाइफ को बोलने से डरते. तो हमारी अपब्रिंगिंग इस तरह से होनी चाहिए कि अगर सिस्टर को एक सैनिटरी पैड की भी जरूरत है तो ही शुड बी एबल टू ब्रिंग इट दैट. ही शुड अंडरस्टैंड कि उसकी फीमेल के प्रति रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी क्या है. मतलब हाउ ही विल अंडरस्टैंड रिस्पेक्ट. हम उसको ही नहीं आता तुम्हें लेडीज की रिस्पेक्ट करनी चाहिए, क्यों करनी चाहिए? वी शुड टेल देम. हम उनको क्या बोलेंगे कि अगर तुम जाओगे किसी के घर तो तुम्हें उनके पैर छूने हैं. आर वी डूइंग द सेम थिंग? हमें पहले उनके पैर छूने होंगे जिनको हम इज्जत देते हैं, देन दे शुड फॉलो इट. एक कमांडिंग नहीं, एक हमें उनको अपने साथ इन्वॉल्व करके then we should teach them ki how they can become a good man. Good man means ये नहीं कि सिर्फ mature like female film stars, but they should have the good quality. That is the most important thing कि वो एक दूसरे को समझे. जब भी हम क्या करते हैं, घर में कोई हाउस होल्ड वर्क है, ठीक है, फीमेल्स आर डूइंग, mothers are doing, and somehow they are also helping, but mother will always say ये मेरा राजा बेटा है. मतलब हम हमेशा बॉयज से बस ये एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं कि बस एक बार पैदा हो गया, बाकी हमें कुछ नहीं करना उसको. इवन डिलीवरी रूम में अगर बेटा हुआ है, दे आर वेरी हैप्पी कि वी हैव डन अ वेरी गुड थिंग कि बेटा हो गया. बट उसके बाद उसको कैसे अपब्रिंग करना है कि वो राजा बेटा है, वो राजा बन के रहेगा. राजा बेटा, राजा हस्बैंड तो बने, उसको राजा बेटा तो बनने दो, बट उसको पहले से ही इतना सिखा दिया जाता है कि वो बस आराम करे, बाकी काम लेडीज करे. तो इस चीज को हमें तोड़ना है कि वो जिस दिन वाइफ से जिस दिन अपनी एक हस्बैंड बने, उस टाइम उस वाइफ को वो उतना ही सपोर्ट करे जितना वो उसको सपोर्ट करती है, तभी वो एक बेटर बन पाएगा. इसलिए हमेशा उस बच्चे के हमें जो वो कर रहा है उसकी तारीफ करो. ये नहीं कि हाँ ये तो महान काम करेगा, मतलब करेगा या नहीं करेगा पहले से हम कैसे डिसाइड कर सकते हैं? तो अगर हमें गुड मैन बनाना है तो वो गुड क्वालिटीज पहले डालो, ताकि वो हाँ जरूर से एक महान और एक राजा बेटा बने. That's what I want to say, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Maheshwari, for giving your views. And she very clearly says that we must encourage even the boys to participate in all things, whichever they are interested. She made a very important point about the delivery, because being a gynecologist, and as my knowledge says, although I am not a doctor, in US and UK and other countries, they allow the husband inside the operation theater whenever the delivery is taking place, and they allow them to watch, so that that empathy, or what you are saying, the relation from with the child, start from there. While in India, they never allow the husband to go inside, but in US and UK, they always allow the husband to be inside the theater when the delivery takes place. So I'm sure that we will have sometime this thing. And secondly, she mentioned about that the children should be, the boy should be giving free hand. There was a movie, Bollywood movie, Key and Ka, which was a movie which I think, if I'm not mistaken, Arjun Kapoor and Kareena Kapoor were the, yeah. And it was, people were saying, how come a husband can do all the household work? This is not acceptable. But if we go abroad, we see all the boys, all the husbands are doing the work themselves. Sometimes I have seen the parents are feeling bad. They says, we have not brought up the boy to do all this work. And that's because our daughter-in-law is such that he has done some jadoo tona, and now he's working like this. So that mentality has to be changed. Thank you very much, Dr. Charu Maheshwari, for giving your views. Now I am going to ask the questions. So my first question goes to Mrs. Lata Goel. Mrs. Lata Goel, we are blaming boys, but our customs, we have a festival called Raksha Bandhan, where the boys is supposed to protect the sister. The brother is protect to the sister. Sister is not protecting the boy. Why? One, there is a festival called Karwa Chauth. Wife is keeping fast for the life of husband. Why the husband is not keeping a fast for the life of wife? Then, even in the time of marriage, there are some 7 promises to be taken. In one of the promise, if I remember, I don't know now, but it's a 42 years back, not 42 years, I think 41 years back. At that time, one was that I will be protecting my wife, I will earn the money and I will give to her. Yeah. Why? It means if we have to bring the equity and equality, which our panelist says, we have to change the rituals. We have to think very seriously, and we have to revisit all our rituals, and then only we can proudly say that we are doing something. Otherwise, just for doing the parenting or talking on the talk show will not serve the purpose. What do you say about this, Mrs. Lata Goel?
Yes, it's a very relevant topic. Yesterday only, I was having an argument with my daughter-in-law, who was saying the same thing. She said, you must have equality. Why shouldn't the men work as the women work? And this is what I was discussing with her. Now here, as you say, Mr. Goel, that earlier we used to have those 7 promises in which the man promises, and we have Karwa Chauth and we have others. Those were the traditions at that time. I feel the traditions at that time was that the man was supposed to protect the woman who was not going out of the house. The times have changed drastically. Today, the girl is a breadwinner. The lady is an equal breadwinner. The girls are working before they get married. They are earning the same amount of money, and sometimes the girl gets more money than the boy whom she's marrying these days. So therefore, that gender equality and equity, which doctors and, Mrs. Maheshwari and others on the panel have today emphasized, I agree with it that these are changing times and we have to change. The earlier concepts have to be metamorphosed and we have to change. Now the time has come. Gone are the days when only the lady was supposed to bring up the child. The man was not even supposed to pick up a glass of water. Now The concepts have changed and the times have changed. Requirement is there for equity and equality.
Okay,
So,
thank you, Mrs. Goel. Now my question goes to Dr. Kundapur. Dr. Kundapur, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Dr. Kundapur, Mrs. Goel just now mentioned that time is changing, equity and equality, as you mentioned, are coming. But I will give you one figure. As you know that I am the chairman of Organ Donation India Foundation. As per the RTI in 2019, 19% recipients of organs are women and 84% donation by women. What time is changing? Why? Because boy, no, he cannot donate to the father or to the mother. Let the daughter can give because she is useless. I am very, very blunt. I am very unhappy with this thing. Wife can donate to husband. Husband will not donate to wife because as per our law of organ donation, spouse donation is also allowed. Sister can donate to the brother. Brother will not donate. Why? Where we are? While in other countries, it is almost equal. We hear the population now has, as per the latest census, I think the women are more than the men or equal, if you will say. And today the condition is, this is pity that 19% recipients are women. Why? They are not human beings, or we are just leaving them to be killed or died? No, this is unacceptable. What you say about this, because you are a doctor and that too on a community thing you are doing. We are here. Are these figures? But one side we say empowerment. What empowerment? No empowerment, I must. Dr. Kundapur, please.
Yes, I definitely agree with you. With the whole concept of women is always considered as a second citizen in this country. She's never been given a choice of being a first citizen. If you look into, you were talking about the organ donation, I'm talking about majority of the other issues also coming into. I am in many of the medical colleges that has been accepted. I do not mind a female HOD, but I do mind a female D. Now comes that to what level I will allow you to be empowered, but I do not allow. The management by itself says we do not mind female HODs, but we definitely do mind a female D for that institution. Of course, in the medical, all the first grade colleges, we find a lot of female this one, but we also know how the trend is going on. The best of the people, the higher scorers or so-called best, the creamy society should go to something else and the remaining should come to something else. That's how the society is right now running. So the first class, the first of the first class, the recognized of the recognized will be given only to the first class citizens, and the next can be taken up by the second class citizens. And we ask, why is this issue coming up? They say that, no, that is because first thing is female can easily mend and go ahead. Like they can give up. Like what you said, your grandmother could give up. So easily can give up without feeling hurt of their ego. Now there is an issue that female can give up without an issue of their ego. And second thing they say that is, of course, the productivity of a man is better always than a female. Now, what is called productivity? Is it a money? Is it a power? Is it a face how you're looking at? Because women are emotionally vulnerable. Now that comes into an issue of, we have reasons for this, but we do not look at the outcome. And the outcome again, as you rightly pointed out, outcome remains all through in any of the houses that women now it's put up as she loves to be the second citizen. She loves to be a follower. But considering her as a first citizen or a recognized, we are going her to get the recognized citizen, but not the recognized of the recognized. That has not been given. That is how it happens in an organ donation could have been. So she can be a second citizen to get all the choices. She's at least considered as a citizen. You should be happy for that. That's the question most of us say. Earlier, she was not even given the choice of vote. Now she's given the choice of vote. So she's considered as a citizen, but she's a second citizen. So that's what I would
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Rashmi Kundapur. Now my question goes to Miss Karishma Chhatrapati. Miss Karishma Chhatrapati, we have seen from the child that a boy and a girl, if they are playing in a house, a boy will not be given the toys like kitchen set, etc. Girl will not be given like a some tanks or cars or something which is or the gun type of things, which and that we turn them as it's, it's a man. My question to you is, what to increase emotional intelligence in boys? Miss Karishma Chhatrapati.
Emotional intelligence will increase by first letting the boys choose what they want to play. Stop defining it. There are chefs, world-renowned chefs who are working in the kitchen who are boys. And there are women who are renowned engineers, like you even mentioned about Brooklyn Bridge. If from a younger age, you allow your child to choose the toys, to choose the ability to emote. And, another factor is not just the toys from a young age. I believe exposing children in general to art, playway, and opening up and emoting. See, one of the biggest discriminations between the man and the woman or the boy and the girl is going back to the same thing. Girls are allowed to emote, but boys are not. And over a period of time, the men become passively aggressive because they've not been taught how to emote. They've not been taught how to express themselves. And interestingly, according to statistics, there are more men who have heart attacks than women. Because women, it's natural to speak and emote, but men are not. Every time we talk about women empowerment, and I completely agree that being a woman, but I also feel that somewhere there are many men who are disempowered. And because of that disempowerment, they become aggressive, they become abusive, and passively intolerable. Because from the very beginning of life, they've not been allowed to express themselves in wholeness. Okay. Expression is a freedom for every child. And that is the base of emotional intelligence.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Karishma. Now I have to complain to my parents because I got the heart attack. So it might be because my parenting was not perfect. So I could not express at that time. Anyway, thank you very much, Miss Karishma. Now my question goes to Dr. Charu Maheshwari. Dr. Charu Maheshwari, you were talking about the boys. We are discussing boys. I think the fault lies with the women only, the mother. Mother is always pampering the boy. They always say, no, mera, like you have used the word Raja Beta. This is my, no, he's a boy. And always wants the girl should go to the kitchen. If the boy by mistake goes to the kitchen, immediately says, no, go out. No, this is not your work. You just go out, help your father, do any those types of work. So why you are blaming us? Why you are blaming the men or the boys? Blame the ladies, the women. They are the main culprit. When they were the girls, then it is fine. When they become mother, for them, the boy is everything. Yes, when they become the mother-in-law, at that time also, they will support only the boy, not the daughter-in-law. They forget that they were also the daughter-in-law from other family which came to this family. वो भी कभी बेटी थी, सास भूल जाती है, सास भी कभी बेटी थी कि मैं भी कभी बेटी रही हूँ. And then they act in such a way that the boy gets that thing that, oh, I am having that superiority. My mother is supporting me like this. Don't you think the fault lies with the mother? Mother should be educated how to upbring the boy in comparison to the girl. What you say about this, Dr. Charu Maheshwari? Please unmute.
Yes, sir. I totally agree with you that fault lies with the mother. But things are changing. Now they are getting educated. They are understanding how we should upbring the boys. Everybody knows girls are different. Men are from Mars and women are from Venus. So they are emotionally different. But second thing is that male baby or the boy is always attached to her mother and the girl is attached to her father. That is also true. But as the education and awareness is increasing and as the girls are becoming more and more independent, they are also helping in the kitchen, but the time will take. It was the earlier practice कि हम ऐसे बोलते थे कि हाँ लड़कों को बाकी खेती बाड़ी के काम करने या बाहर के काम करने हैं, बट जब लेडीज बाहर स्टेप रखने लगी तो बॉयज ने भी अंदर स्टेप्स रखने शुरू किए हैं. कहीं पे हमने बहुत जगह देखा भी है, as you gave the example of that movie. Still ठीक है, सब लोगों ने एक्सेप्ट नहीं किया, बट मैनी ऑफ द पीपल हैव एक्सेप्टेड दैट. तो चेंजेस आर कमिंग, बट चेंजेस हमेशा स्लो ही होते हैं, तभी वो अच्छे होते हैं. धीरे धीरे ये चेंज भी आएगा कि मदर अपने बेटे से कहेगी आज खाना तुम बनाओगे एंड हम लोग बैठ के खाएंगे. टाइम आएगा सर.
I'm sure. Thank you very much, Dr. Maheshwari. I'm sure at least those four participants of this program will definitely ask their son to do the work of kitchen and ask if they have. I don't know about the girls, they have daughters or not, but the daughter-in-laws to ask them to sit and see to it that the boys should serve and cook and serve and clean the utensils also, which is also very, very much required. Thank you very much. Now, in the last round, I'm going to come to all of you with only I have 30 seconds for you. Your suggestion, Mrs. Lata Goel, that what one suggestion you would like to give to the parents so that the upbringing of a boy to be so that he will become a good man and in turn good citizen. Mrs. Lata Goel, 30 seconds.
I advise the parents to bring up both the genders, both the sexes in a balanced and equal way. Do not give preference to the boy or the preference to the girl. Bring them up equally. They are both the creation of God.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mrs. Lata Goel. Dr. Rashmi Kundapur, please.
I have always been said that the same thing again, saying that raise your child to manage or to respect an empowered woman. We have already empowered our women, so please bring up your children, boys, to manage or handle both empowered and unempowered women equally and give them an equity. That's it.
Thank you very much. Ms. Karishma Chhatrapati.
Gender neutrality in bringing up your child. Let your child express irrespective of a boy or a girl. Express yourself.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Charu Maheshwari.
Sir, I will say कि जो हम boys को बोलते हैं ना कि तुम चुप रहो, उस word को हटा दें. Let them speak out. Let them ask what they want. उनको psychological support दें. जब भी कोई crime होता है, उसमें उसको सजा तो जरूर से दें, लेकिन उसका साइकोलॉजिकल ट्रीटमेंट भी करें, जो कि लेटर ऑन हमें आगे ये क्राइम होने से बच सकें.
Okay, thank you very much. So viewers, you have seen today 4 experts, and though not only experts, they have seen the life. They have seen how the boys, the difference between the boys and girl, and the upbringing of boys, meaning, and they have given a very, very clear thing that the upbringing has to be in a equal way, not discrimination between the gender. I don't know whether this efforts of today will be of any thing, because it's a one drop, I can say, in the ocean. But yes, one has to come off. If we will not take up this today, who is going to take up? Today we are seeing anywhere in the world how the boys, even Indian boys, are working together. Why not we see to it that in India they will work together? They will give the respect, the domestic violence, the rapes which are occurring in our society. Who is responsible? Me and you. The civil society is responsible. We cannot blame the government or the politician. We must blame ourselves. If we will not teach our children properly, if we will not upbring their, we will not give them the good parenting, they are going to become a criminal, or they will be doing something which is not healthy for the society. So if you want the society to be clean, if you want our country should be the Vishguru in the world, first you have to change your own things at your home. As people say, the charity begins from home. I say even the parenting, good parenting is required. Don't blame the son or the girl if they become something which against your wishes, because you are the culprit. You have to change your views. If you cannot go take some counseling, there are lots of counselors available everywhere. Talk to them, see to it that you will give the good, correct parenting, so that tomorrow there will be no distinction between boy and girl, and we can proudly say the boys are also as responsible as girls, and the boys are also empowered as the girls. Because as everybody says that we have done lots of shows on empowerment, and we are seeing in media also. And I can also request the media not to project boys as the he-man, whether it's the films or whether in the serials. We must give them the same thing. if we will also show that the girl is a bechari or a very poor and a very feeble, she can't do anything, and boy is a he-man, macho man, etc., etc., then it is wrong. Although there were few movies which have shown, but it should be in equal way. If we will show that we will project like this, the day is not far, then we can proudly say that India is going to be the Vishwaguru, not only other ways, even in the equality of boys and girls. Thank you very much. And today's program has been live telecasted by V4 News, Karu News, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV India, News Gaon se, Samvad Sarokar News, Bharat Post News, Gyan, as well as it was shown live on Facebook and YouTube. And in our endeavor to bring to you everyday new topic on in the media conference with Lal Goel at 10:30 a.m. Tomorrow, our topic is Youth Conclave on Analytical Skills, where few of the MBA students, Pan India, they will be joining us, and our chief guest who will be giving replies to all the questions on the analytical skills, Professor Dr. Sudhir Saran. He is the former visiting professor, IIM Lucknow and University of Texas at Dallas, USA. He is the senior director of Don Bosco Group, Bengaluru, and he is the founder of Dr. Saran Consultancy, California, USA, as well as Professor Dr. Anand Mohan Agrawal. He is the Pro Vice Chancellor of United University, Prayagraj. So please tune in tomorrow for media conference with Lal Goel at 10:30 a.m. Thank you very much, Mrs. Lata Goel. Thank you very much, Dr. Rashmi Kundapur. Thank you very much, Ms. Karishma Chatpati. And thank you very much, Dr. Charu Maheshwari, for giving your views. And thank you all the viewers. And I'm sure if even 1%, if you will learn what they have said, then it will change, because change requires from 1%, and then we can see that